I'm Leslie Weidenbender with Comcast Newsmakers, and I'm here today with Representative David Ober, a Republican from Albion. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about how the session's going for you so far.
I think it's going very well. I'm a new representative this session, and so I'm kind of going through the learning process here, but I'm enjoying my committee work. I serve on the Employment, Labor, and Pensions Committee, Government and Regulatory Reform, as well as the Agriculture Committee, which really fits within my wheelhouse, and I'm enjoying it, absolutely.
What have been the biggest challenges for you in your first session?
I think just getting my mind around the process and how it works, and then trying to maneuver through that process, and then getting a bill out of the House and into the Senate. That learning curve is pretty sharp, but I think I'm coping.
Tell us what your biggest priorities are for the session.
This session has been road funding and making sure that that's more adequate for communities like the ones that I represent. So I was very happy to see one of my bills, one of my ideas kind of get included in the budget proposal from the House side. We'll see how that moves over to the Senate, but I certainly was thrilled to see that idea get included in that bill.
Do you think there's enough money in the budget for road funding?
I think all the local communities would rather see more, and I think that that's where the impetus of the bill was, that local communities are not seeing enough money to adequately maintain and construct new roads and maintain bridges. So I'd certainly like to see more go to the local level, but I think our budget does a good job of addressing the problem, which is not enough money for roads.
One of the things that the budget does is take sales taxes away that folks pay at the pump and diverts that to road funding. Do you think that's a good way to raise more money for roads?
I think that the idea of taking the sales tax on gasoline and putting that into, dedicating that to roads is a good idea. There's always a question about what metrics to use and how much and all these different considerations, but I support what Chairman Brown and the committee has done with regards to road funding, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the Senate has to say about that.
What else in the budget were you pleased with?
I was really pleased to see that we were paying down some debt and we were paying cash for some new construction projects. I think that Hoosiers want to see fiscal responsibility from their leaders, and I really do believe that our budget, with those factors, will address those problems and make sure that tax dollars aren't being spent on interest payments in the future. We're actually saving tax dollars in that by doing that.
Governor Mike Pence has proposed an income tax cut. How do you feel about that, and do you think that will be part of a final budget?
I do think it'll be part of a final up or down vote for consideration within the budget, and I support the tax cut. I think it'll help Hoosiers, especially small business owners that are looking at more and more regulation and taxes coming down from the federal government. So I think as a state we're in a good position fiscally, and we'll be able to provide that important tax relief for Hoosiers.
And we just have a little bit of time left, but I wanted to ask you whether you think Indiana should do a Medicaid expansion.
My personal opinion is that I don't think that we should expand Medicaid, but if we do, which is a huge consideration right now in the State House, and Governor Pence's proposal is being considered by Health and Human Services at the federal level. But if we are going to expand it, it should be under HIP. But as far as expanding it all out, I don't support that.
Representative Ober, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm Leslie Weidenbender with the StateHouseFile.com and Comcast Newsmakers.